Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We got the SEC and Coinbase, Big Four accounting firm in crypto, Fidelity, Blackrock, European Central Bank, Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, and guess what else? Zakinov versus Ripple hearing today. You're going to be able to call in and listen. I got the information for you. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.28 trillion market cap for crypto. It's up 6.9%. Good afternoon, everybody. 29,800 plus for Bitcoin, 1954 and change for Ethereum, 81.6 billion plus market cap for Tether, and we see 47 cents for XRP, up 4.8% in the 24-hour, 9.8 off on the 7-day. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done it, check out iTrust Capital. It is the best home, the greatest home for you to get a crypto IRA. There is no better offering. You don't have to look any further. You can click that link underneath. Check out my sponsor, because the only thing better than buying crypto at my house is buying tax-free crypto. I can tell you that. Rolling over your 401k, your 403b, 457, and so many more options. Transfer your existing IRA, start a new one. They got you covered. I'm telling you right now. And as a retail investor, where are you going to find institutional custody? You're going to find it in a crypto IRA, because that's how you do it compliant, and that's what iTrust does all day long. Click that link. Michael Brandt, shout out to him. Hey, why does this guy not have 150,000 followers like he should? Give him a follow. Data provided by the Whale Alert depicts that crypto whales have moved more than 280 million XRP tokens, approximately worth $127 million in multiple transactions over the past 24 hours. I can confirm it was not me. Well, we know that the SEC is suing Coinbase, and we know that there's been a big stance taken here. And what is interesting about this is really what we're going to look at right now, okay? And it's this clip, and I need to show it to you very quickly. It's only 40 seconds.
So we already know in the U.S. and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs, or not what would be called securities. Even in the U.S., Canada, and Taiwan, the 3 jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto. So you'll hear debates about initial coin offerings and what's a security and what's not a security. Relevant and important debate. But for 3/4 of the market, it's not particularly relevant as a legal matter.
How about that? Well, he had plenty of clarity back then, but now all of a sudden, SEC, Gary Gensler, Goldman Gensler says they're all securities. Stablecoins too. Brian Armstrong says, wow. Well, I say wow too, Brian, because you know what? I originally grabbed a paddle and started paddling. I knew when Ethereum was cited as being a security by the New York Attorney General, there's trouble coming. And then soon after, we saw the SEC suing Coinbase. But you know what? DAI's got it right here. Sorry, but this greatly offends me. The XRP community was putting out these clips of what Gensler was up to for over 2 years. Brian Armstrong and his .eth friends, Ryan Selkis, Novogratz, the rest of them, all acted like it wasn't there. We're on the same side now, but these people should be ashamed of themselves, and I won't forget it. And I know what? I won't either. They thought they had their Bitcoin ETH free pass from the Hinman speech and didn't care. And that's absolutely the truth. And the lack of humility from Brian Armstrong, from Ryan Selkis, and the rest of them should really be an issue that they tackle first, because they could have an entire XRP army behind them if they had the brains and the humility enough to recognize it. Because it's our playbook that they're trying to use now. And here, I believe, is the real reason that the incumbents have thrown everything, including Goldman Gary Gensler, at Ripple and XRP. Listen to what Michael Arrington said back in the day about moving money using XRP.
Like, yeah, people, the tribalism in this industry is insane. So there's Bitcoin maximalists, but everybody agrees, like, you know, XRP sucks, and I don't really get it, right? I mean, they're a legitimate company. They don't pretend to be something they're not, and they're really good at one thing: moving money fast and cheap. And it's fantastic. It fills a big need. And for a hedge fund like us to be able to denominate in Ripple and XRP, I just did the same thing, is really, really, really good. When we did our first close, we moved north of $50 million into the company in Ripple and XRP in like 2 seconds, and it cost 30 cents. Now, that is amazing. There's no way to do that with fiat or Bitcoin. There's just no way to do it that fast and that cheaply. And so it serves a really useful need for us. And then also when our LPs eventually redeem, hopefully never, but when they want some of the money back, we just send it in XRP again. And there's no 3-day wait for international wires or 1-day wait for US wires. We're not paying wire fees and all that. It's just, I don't understand why that's hard to understand. And so the religious wars aside, the tribalism aside, it does some things really well, and we love it for that. That being said, just because we're denominated in XRP, I'm not a special pleader for XRP. I don't work for them. The company itself is not our LP. Other people who had XRP are. I like them. I think they're great, but they're like less than 5% of our asset base at this point. Like, we do invest in XRP, but most of our investments are in other things.
And there you have it right there. And I believe that real functionality is what has made it a target. I absolutely believe that. Not to mention the fact that when you have a technology like this that truly does what it say it can do, you have to go through the legal channels and the protocols to get that clarity. And yes, that means going through a Jay Clayton and a Goldman Gensler to get there. Looking at this, we're seeing more trends of where the world is going here. Deloitte is one of the 4 big accounting firms in the world. And look at what they're doing. It appears that most crypto-related jobs listings are of the 4 accounting firms, Deloitte being one of them. I tell you, this is where it's going. You want more evidence? Here, Fidelity Investments and Blackrock. Heard of them? 2 of the biggest investing companies in the world are slowly expanding their reaches into crypto and blockchain spaces. Isn't that something? While the retail investors made to believe that this space is going to die and go away. Meanwhile, we see this too as a reminder here. A new central bank digital currency in Europe would be designed with privacy in mind, although it would never be as private as cash is, according to a European central bank official, and according to Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank. That should bother all of us. Updated rules from the New York Fed, however, back here in the States could deem stablecoin issuer Circle ineligible for access to the Fed's money market here. What it talks about is basically this article talks about, and actually it's not just this article, also have this piece right here as well, which shows the rule or current version here that it's showing here. And basically it's talking about a mismatch in liquidity. And Jeremy Allaire defends it by saying this: if we want to make the dollar safer and more competitive, we need to do 2 things. Unleash its power as a native data type on the internet that can be openly used and integrated. Remove the this is a big one. Remove the underlying bank lending IOU risk on electronic money and separate payment tokens from lending tokens. There are bills in front of Congress that can help the dollar become more safe and competitive. And here you can see this is actually bold, insightful paper from former Fed colleague. For anyone who wants to deep dive on payments and lending, too long didn't read. The payment risk dampens bank lending and impedes leads bank lending channel of monetary policy transmission. And it gets into what I spoke about financial services creates liquidity mismatch. They need to be able to segregate these issues of electronic money and payment tokens from lending tokens. Very big deal there. I believe XRP to also be a payment token that can grow into a reserve currency at some point if the world sees the efficiency of it. And we may just need it someday, because Dr. Martin Heisboik shares right here with the current events of the BRICS countries. Let's take a closer look at the development of the dollar from 1899 to present. Now I'm just going to let this spin here. 1944, around the time of Bretton Woods. Then you see the expansion here of the dollar, right? Then it pulls back a bit, then it grows. You can see the ebb and flow. You can see the British pound being diminished by taking over the dollar reserve currency, and the Bretton Woods era began, right? Then we see that we had all of this going on with the gold standard, and then soon we come off of the gold standard, you'll see, back around 73 or so. You can see how much it grew, right? And then all of a sudden, you're going to see it retract here in a few moments. And after it retracts, after coming off the gold standard, then there was putting the petrodollar agreement in place, right? Then we had the Plaza Accord that happened in the devaluation of the dollar around 85, mid-80s there, right? You can see the pullback there. Then you can see the expansion and use and the rise of the U.S. dollar again in the mid to late 90s, right? And then it's going to take us right up to where we are today. And I tell you, this is a very real moment. You know, there's something I used to say on my show all the time, especially when I first started my channel and I had a live show and was not doing pre-recorded videos. I used to say this is the greatest financial paradigm shift in the history of mankind. And I still believe it. And I still believe that that's true. And I'm not asking you to. I'm just sharing my digital perspectives here. But what I do know is that there's a lot of shape-shifting going on, and the United Kingdom is figuring it out. The UK, the Financial Conduct Authority, is not messing around. They have made it very clear that the UK is going to be a crypto hub. That's the term. That's what they use. That's what they're going to do. Meanwhile, we're stuck here with a lack of clarity. Goldman Gensler, I believe, in regulatory capture of the SEC, doing the bidding for the legacy firms here to suppress the market and bleed it out so that the legacy firms can come in and buy it up for pennies on the dollar. It's a hard argument to say that that's not what we're watching. It really, really is. But nevertheless, we have more to go. This just in, date announced for public hearing. You remember Zakinov versus Ripple case? That class action where the guy held XRP for like a couple weeks or a couple days and then turned around and sold it and then said, hey, I had a loss. This is a security. Well, there's a hearing today. And the class action lawsuit against Ripple Labs for selling XRP as an unregistered security is picking up steam today. The case, which is being litigated in the state of California, will see a class certification hearing today at 4:30, the Ripple versus Zakinov case. And remember, John Deaton is filed to be a part of this case as well, ladies and gentlemen. And here is the information. It is today, Wednesday, April 26th at 1:30 p.m., which means 4:30 Eastern Time. Shout out to Crypto Law for this. A hearing will take place in federal court in California on the class action case filed against Ripple in RE Ripple Labs Zakinov versus Ripple from 2020. The judge has opened online access to 500 members of the public through this login notice. And here is the notice for you. Right here. This is where we're at. I will do my best to be one of those 500 people. That much I can guarantee you. I do want to remind people, though, the hearing is an oral arguments on questions of certifying class of XRP holders suing Ripple. The plaintiff, Bradley Sostak, who owned XRP for 2 weeks, is asking to be the lead plaintiff in the class and is asking to represent all XRP holders who either owned it and I lost my place here. holders who either owned it and sold it as a loss or own it today. John Deaton filed a motion, however, for leave to file an amicus brief on behalf of 75,000 plus XRP holders in the case to have their voices heard before the court. His motion hasn't been ruled on yet. This is what is so important about this today, is that John Deaton get to participate as an amicus brief filer, a friend to the court, and represent all 75 plus thousand of us in the class action, instead of the just one or two of the Zakinov case. You know, I had an interview I did with Meta Lawman at one point not long ago, and he said it either on camera or off camera, and shout out to him for it, because I think he is absolutely spot on. John Deaton is not just sticking up for XRP holders. John Deaton's not just sticking up for the entire crypto space at this point, which he is doing. John Deaton is changing the way cases are litigated and fought in the entire crypto industry because of filing amicus briefs with the power of representing 75,000 other people in a case. I'm going to do my best to tune in today. I hope you do too. There's the information right there for you. New case, not a new case, but new hearing today. Zakinov versus Ripple. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.